Good afternoon and welcome to Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network. Tuesday, October 3rd, Frank Granito alongside Kevin Coleman in studio as we get you caught up on another weekend of FCX action. We'll also have highlights and breakdown of yesterday's volleyball matchup featuring the East and West Division leaders out of the conference. John Kovacs joins us later on for some football talk. And of course, we'll have your athlete of the week, winners from week 2 in the fall season, nominees from week 3. But before we get to that, quickly, Kevin, let's just talk briefly. A highly anticipated matchup yesterday. Danbury and St. Joe's off to such a great start in girls volleyball this year. And I truly believe those two teams lived up to the hype yesterday.
They did. You saw an extremely competitive game from both sides. You look at the last 2 volleyball games before last night's broadcast. I thought that was the best one we broadcasted so far in terms of how close it was and how competitive it was. You look at those rallies between both sides. It was a lot of fun to watch. You had Christina Crocco take over at times, Katrina Sullivan for the Hatters take over at times. It was a really, really fun volleyball game to watch. And Frank, I do believe, regardless of what record the Danbury Hatters have at the end of the year, this is a dangerous team. Once they get into the playoffs, look out for the Hatters.
They fall into second place in the West Division with that loss. They're a game behind West Hill now, who also has been a surprise start to the year. I mean, they've been tremendous as well. I really do believe you're right that Danbury as a team can make some noise come playoff time. Speaking with the girls after the game yesterday, a little disappointed with their performance, but the big players make big plays for that roster. Their depth players and role players do such a good job of putting those star players like a Sullivan, like a Grenier, like a Mercer in positions to be successful on the court. It was a fun team to watch. And on the other side as well, St. Joe's, I don't know that they played their cleanest game of the season, but you saw why they are still perfect in the FCX, and it's because they find ways to battle through adversity and were able to come away with that win down the stretch.
And you're right, Megan Mercer in front of the net yesterday, I mean, at times was scary. And there was a time where they really were shutting down St. Joe's, getting some big points. But St. Joe's ended up finding a way to get past that Danbury Hatters defense. At times looked very dominant. So that's why I stay with my statement with I think they're going to be a dangerous team, because you look at someone like Megan Mercer, who's so dominant in front of the net, her and Katrina Sullivan doubling up on at times. I thought they were a great dynamic duo. But you look at St. Joe's, I thought Crocco, again, you looked at that third set she had was great. Hannah Hutchinson was good as well. Bridget Fati was, obviously, we know how good she can be in front of the net and getting some big-time kills. This is a good St. Joe's Cadets team. I think we expect to see them definitely in the playoffs this year. Obviously, their record shows why they're having such a great start. But look out. We mentioned during the broadcast yesterday, Frank, their last stretch of a couple games throughout this season are extremely difficult schedule down the stretch for the Cadets, so look out for that.
We'll have more on yesterday's match later on in the show. We'll have highlights as well. But for now, we'd like to announce our winners of the second week of the fall season for Athletes of the Week. They were Bailey Senatiempo of the Trumbull Girls Volleyball Squad and Joshua Smith of the Bridgeport Central Boys Soccer Team. Senatiempo, the freshman, was huge in a 3-2 win versus Stanford High. She had 14 kills, 11 digs, 13 service points, including 2 aces for the Eagles. Joshua Smith, he led the way offensively for the Hilltoppers in a 3-0 win over Staples, scoring twice in Central's win. They are 3-1-2 after that win on the season and continue to find themselves right in the mix for the FCX playoffs. So congratulations again to our Week 2 winners. For our Week 3 nominees, let's start with our first female nominee, and for that, we'll go over to Kevin.
And Frank, starting things off with the FCX girls nominees of this week, we have Erica Blaze from Darien Field Hockey. Blaze faced 8 penalty corners in the second half and stopped all 4 of Ludlow's shots as the Blue Wave slipped by the Falcons by a final score of 1-0. Now, for the boys' side, let's go over to Frank.
Colton Nicholas of the Trumbull football team is our first nominee. Nicholas threw for 267 yards and 3 touchdowns. He also ran for a score as the Eagles won 35-27 over Trinity Catholic. Junior guided Trumbull to touchdowns in the last 2 minutes of both the first and the second half.
And we're switching things over, keeping with that volleyball theme here. Taylor Morton of Brian McMahon. Morton had 32 kills, 14 blocks, and 14 service points when the Senators posted a 3-2 victory over Trumbull High. Brian McMahon improves to 7-0 on the season and 3-0 in the conference play to remain tied atop the FCIAC West Division.
Next up is Cristo Bocci of the Fairfield Ludlow boys soccer team. The junior led the way offensively for the Falcons with a pair of goals in Ludlow's 4-0 win over the Trinity Catholic Crusaders. It was the 4th win of the year for the Falcons and moved them into 3rd place in the FCIAC East.
And going to St. Joe's girls soccer, we got Maddie Fried. Maddie led the cadets' attack, scoring 2 of the team's 4 goals in their 4-1 win over the West Hill Vikings. With the win, the cadets remain unbeaten on the season and in sole possession of 1st place in the FCIAC.
Jago of the Fairfield Ward Cross Country squad led the Mustangs to a 4-0 sweep during Tuesday's meet at New Canaan's Waveney Park. Jago finished the 5K course in 16 minutes 48 seconds, finishing 1st, edging out teammates James Maniscalco, who was 2nd at 16:51. Ward, now 8-1 on the season, leads the FCIAC East Division.
And at Stanford High Volleyball, we got Andrea O'Connor. O'Connor hit a career milestone with her 1,000th career kill in the Knights' 3-0 win over New Canaan on Wednesday night. The senior hitter had 20 kills, 6 blocks, and 3 aces in the sweep. She followed that performance with 19 kills, 5 blocks on Thursday when Stanford dropped McMahon 3-1 in a rematch of last year's FCIAC championship.
Another cross-country nominee on the male side, Dan Nichols of the Danbury squad, raced to a time of 16:19 to win Tuesday's cross-country race in Westport. The meets featured 2 of the top teams in the FCIAC, Danbury and Staples. Nicholas winning by 10 seconds. His team, the Hatters, would also beat West Hill 15-50 and now are 7-1 this season.
And the final female nominee of the week from West Hill Girls Volleyball, Sophia Thorgoris. Thorgoris finished with 14 assists, 12 digs, 7 kills, and 2 blocks as West Hill edged Ward 3-2. With the win, the West Hill Vikings continued their great start to 2017 as they finished the week with an overall record of 8-1 and a conference record of 4-1.
Timmy Lyles of the Staples boys soccer team is our final nominee. The senior provided all the offense that the Wreckers needed. His 5th-minute goal was the difference maker in Staples' 1-0 victory over previously unbeaten Norwalk. The 3 points from the win put Staples into a tie for the final spot in the top 8 of the FCIAC conference. Those are your Week 3 nominees for Athlete of the Week. Make sure you go online and submit your vote for who you want to see win. You can go to the HAN Network page and click the Athlete of the Week tab or slide across on our live slider. Kevin and I are going to take a break, but when we get back, we're going to look at yesterday's matchup in girls volleyball featuring the East and West Division leaders. That went all 5 sets. We've got the highlights right now. Coming up next on the HAN Network.
Had a sports injury or slip and fall that needs immediate care? Coastal Orthopedics Walk-In Urgent Care gives you direct access to orthopedic specialists fast without an appointment. Biking, golf, tennis, soccer, whatever the sports injury is, sprain or fracture, Coastal Orthopedics Walk-In Urgent Care can help. Open 7 days a week now at 3 locations. The iPark Building at 761 Main Avenue, Norwalk, 36 Old Kings Highway South in Darien, or in the Westport Medical Center at 323 Riverside Avenue, Westport. Go to coastalorthoct.com. Like them on Facebook.
At the office of Dr. David Oshiro of Darien, we provide high-quality and personalized orthodontic treatment in a professional and caring environment. We make treatment fun for our young patients and believe it's never too late to have a healthy and beautiful smile. Call now for an appointment and find out more at droshiro.com.
The leaves are changing, water temps dropping, and the sun is setting a little earlier each day. But there's still a lot of great boating, fishing, and coast time left before we see the first snow. And above all, remember, it's always summer at the Dock Shop. With loads of new fishing tackle and accessories, clothing, jewelry, and home decor, the Dock Shop is just what you need when you start to feel that New England autumn chill. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the New England coast, this is a unique place to shop. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport, dockshop.com.
I'm Tracy Masella, a licensed clinical social worker at Silver Hill Hospital in New Canaan. Join me each month as we talk with experts on the front lines of the treatment of mental health and addiction. Straight Talk with Tracy, a Silver Hill Hospital production, airs at 12 p.m. on the second Thursday of each month here on the HAN Network.
Back on the HAN Network, Frank Granito and Kevin Coleman in studio. As we look back at girls volleyball, and we had a match yesterday on the HAN Network, first look for us, Kevin, at Danbury and St. Joseph, two of the top teams in the conference right now, both off to great starts, and they both played well yesterday. They had to go the full 5 sets, and I think ultimately what we felt was the biggest difference in this game was the mental mistakes that plagued both sides. You look at that first set, Danbury's probably having nightmares still today thinking about that 11-point run Bridget Fatsy went on from the service line, taking 14 out of 15 points, did the Cadets, and that really was where that game turned. If not for a St. Joe's, total mental lapse in the second set, we're probably looking at a shutout yesterday.
Oh, you are. I think you look at those mental mistakes, and it's surprising at times because it was a lot of the mental mistakes came on the Cadets' side. You look at some of that miscommunication they had, not going for the ball, letting it drop. Those things worry me a little bit about the Cadets, especially since you look at this later part of the schedule they have against some very tough opponents. But again, yes, I think Danbury is kicking themselves a little bit in that first set, considering what Katrina Sullivan was able to do from the service line in that first set. Yes, Bridget Fatsy went on that great run, but that first set I thought really set the tone for the Cadets. I got to give credit, though. Danbury did a nice job of coming back, winning a set, but this is a very talented Cadets team. We can go on and on about how good they are. I'm still going to say that this Danbury Hatters team is going to be a team to be reckoned with once they get into the playoffs. They
came back and won the second set, and in my opinion, they won that second set because their best player was the best player on the court. Katrina Sullivan, without a doubt, carried that second set, just dominant at the service line, very active at the net, did a lot in that game. St. Joe's makes mistakes, and she capitalized. If you're going to be given life, I like that she took advantage of it. Third set, then you come back, and it was Christina Crocco who really rebounded after a difficult second set, and she had the big game there. That was the difference in that one. Fourth set, it's another big win. What was fun about the fourth set, and I thought it was the best set of volleyball, Kev, it was back and forth. Both teams just trading points, and ultimately in the end, Danbury comes away with the win in that one.
Right, and I think you look at that third set, you mentioned Christina Crocco. I thought some of those mental mistakes came, especially with her and her teammates not being on the same page in those first 2 sets. She struggled a little bit in that second set. I thought that really set the tone, not only just for her, but for her teammates and that whole entire team, because once she got going, got some nice kills, some nice digs as well defensively. She was great in front of the net. That really got that team going. We were able to win that third set, because I thought if Danbury was going to win that third set, Frank, there was a good chance Danbury was going home with the win, because they looked defeated after Danbury won the second set. I wasn't sure what the mental state was of the St. Joe's Cadets, but Christina Crocco stepped up big time. That's one of the big reasons why they came home with the win.
Big thing in the fifth set for me, St. Joe's got out to the lead early on. They separated themselves enough where Danbury really needed to rally and string together a couple of points, which by the time you got to the fifth set, there were not points really being won consecutively. Both defenses tightened up, and you were just preying on the other team making a mistake. In the end, St. Joe's made less mistakes in that fifth set. They would go on and win 3-2 against the Hatters. Here are the highlights from the Cadets' victory.
Well, Frank, I tell you, if there's one person the Danbury Hatters want to serve right now, it's Katrina Sullivan right now. Remember that run she had earlier?
Big opportunity here, going up, but it's blocked. At the net again.
Kunitsky doesn't play it, and the first set goes to St. Joseph. Now 24-19. And Fatsy ready to serve again. Long as that one misses, and that is the way set number 2 will end. They're coming right back to her, though. That one will do it. 25-18. St. Joe's takes set number 3. They are 1 away. Life on the side of the Cadets. They need to win the next 2 points. As they come over to Grenier, she drops it in. It's still alive, and that will force a 5th set. And it is set point with Capobianco serving for the match. Sailing towards the stands. This one's got to go over, and that's the way it ends. 5 sets required, and the Cadets take 3 of them for the win. We caught up with Bridget Fatsy and Christina Crotto of the St. Joe's Cadets afterward to talk a little bit about the team's success early on this season and what went right in yesterday's victory. Let's hear what the senior girls had to say. Back on the HAN Network, we're joined with our players of the game, Christina Kotsko and Bridget Fatsy of the St. Joe's Cadets. Girls, congrats. Great job out there today. Bridget, let's start. You guys were playing as both leaders in the division for this game. How big was this matchup against the Danbury Hatters today? Good job, by the way.
Thank you. It was a big matchup. It was something that we were definitely looking forward to. We knew that was going to be some tough competition, but I think we were able to hold our own in the end.
Christina, that 3rd set, you guys are tied 1-1, and you came to life and took over. 4 kills and 6 points. You had a run at the service line, too. What was working for you out there?
I don't know. I just got really motivated, and I wanted us to like get our momentum going, and I really just brought it to it.
Bridget, you're one of the captains of this team. You guys heading into that 5th set, what was the message to the team after falling in number 4?
I mean, it's always about energy and positivity. Sometimes one person can be negative, and it gets really contagious on the court, so we just try to stay up all the time.
You had the freshman Kunitsky playing in the middle tonight as well. She did such a great job, a couple of really key plays. How far has she come along for the Cadets this year?
She's come a really long way. No one would expect her to step up and really play at a varsity level as a freshman, but she does a really good job of it, and I was really proud of her tonight.
Well, Bridget, you guys remain atop the East Division now. You've got West Hill next. What's the message to the team before each game as you guys continue this great start to the year?
Just to never give up and play every match like it's the last match you're going to play. We really just want to give it our all on the court.
Well, Bridget, Christina, congrats, guys. Great job today. Can't wait to see you and the Cadets back out there on the court later this week.
Thank you.
Alongside our players of the game, we're going to go back up to Kevin Coleman now, right here on the HAN Network. With the win, St. Joe's remains atop the FCIAC East Division. They are a half game ahead of Ridgefield. They are now 7-0 in conference play. The Tigers, after shutting out Brian McMahon yesterday, sit at 6-0. Those 2 schools are going to meet up in 2 Mondays on the 16th. That'll be a very good game. It'll be at St. Joe's. Not an easy schedule still coming up for St. Joe's, though, Kevin. After this, they go against West Hill, to Stanford, who is finding their stroke, then Trumbull, then Ridgefield. So a very difficult stretch here when you think about all these teams they've got coming up.
And they finish off with Darien and Staples, too. Not an easy road here for St. Joe's. You're going to learn a lot about what the Cadets are this season as they get closer. But, hey, maybe this is a good way to go into the playoffs for them. Maybe they face some of these tough teams later on the schedule. They see them again. Who knows? But we are really going to find out what this Cadets team is made of later on.
On the other side for Danbury, they're going to get McMahon next. That's a McMahon team that is without Taylor Morton at the moment. She hasn't played the past 2 matches. She actually hasn't played since the first set of that match against Darien. Remember, they were undefeated at that point in time, had won the first set. She goes down. They lose the next 3. They are reeling right now without Morton on the court, so the Senators can't get her back quickly enough. Then they get Fairfield Ward, does Danbury, who we've seen and we know they can be a very talented squad this year if they get it going again. Brookfield and then Stanford waiting after that. So both these squads are going to really know where they stand amongst the rest of the conference by the end of that second week in October.
Yeah, McMahon, it's just losing Taylor Morton like that, it's not easy. And I know they lost 3 straight sets to Richfield. This is a team that I expect to bounce back. They still are getting hit with the injury bug, but they still have the depth to be able to make the playoffs at least. And once they get in, maybe they can get a Taylor Morton back. Maybe they get some of the starters that we've seen get hurt a little bit back. So they have to keep fighting. They'll find their way. They'll find their stride, and they'll get back. But again, the 2 teams we saw last night, I think, easily can make a statement in the playoffs.
St. Joe's the best overall record in the conference, 10-1. And then 7-0 in conference play. Right behind them, West Hill now 9-1 after shutting out Trinity Catholic 3-0 yesterday. They move into first place in the West Division. They're 5-1 in the conference. Danbury is right behind them, 7-2, 5-2 in FCX play. And Ridgefield, the only remaining unbeaten, they're 7-0, 6-0 in FCX play. Kevin and I are going to step aside one more time. When we get back, we will look back on this past weekend of FCX football. That's coming up next on Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network.
At Pamby Motors, we're not worried about being the biggest dealership. We're focused on being the best. We're dedicated to giving you the best experience we can. The Pamby Motors team is here to help you choose the right Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, or Ram in a friendly, pressure-free environment. And right now, during the summer clearance event, you'll find some of our best prices too. Like this lease on a 2017 Ram Quad Cab Express for $149 a month. Visit Pamby Motors, Route 7 in Richfield, PambyZone.com.
CT City Lacrosse is dedicated to the growth of lacrosse for youth and high school players. Directed by Stanford High head coach Mike Nazaro, we help players reach full potential on and off the field. With an indoor facility in Stanford, we offer year-round training, camps, clinics, and private instruction. Visit ctcitylax.com for more.
New Canaan Foreign Car. Yes, New Canaan Foreign Car has been servicing all makes of foreign cars for over 50 years. We also buy, sell, and consign cars too. We can help you with all your automotive needs from service to sales. Call us at 203-966-2681.
At Budget Blinds, we're in business to frame the light, the day, and the night. So we give you an exclusive combination of high style, expert service, our no surprises pricing, and our no questions asked warranty. We believe that everyone, at every budget, deserves style and service. Isn't that a beautiful place to be?
We know it's your busy season, and that's why Walter Stewart's Market is here to make things easy by offering the best of autumn under one roof. Walter Stewart's Market is your local one-stop fall shop. There are so many seasonal flavors to savor, and Stewart's has them all. From Blue Jay Orchard's local cider donuts to Vermont Farmstead cheddar and all of your favorite varieties of local apples and pears. Walter Stewart's Market, 229 Elm Street, New Canaan, and find us at stewartsmarket.com. The Kitchen Center offers quality cabinetry and affordable pricing. Visit our showroom for a free consultation with our professional design staff. For all your other home improvement needs, visit Northeast Building Supply, our full-service lumberyard and window showroom. The Kitchen Center, a division of Northeast Building Supply, 1470 Barnum Avenue, Bridgeport.
At Black Horse Garage, we fulfill all your sports car needs. We specialize in manufacturer-recommended service and aftermarket high-performance parts and installation. We have one of the nation's top storage facilities and offer a high-end collision department that understands your need for detail. Visit blackhorsegarage.com for more.
Back on the HAN Network, Frank Granito and Kevin Coleman in studio today, looking back at Week 4 of the FCX football schedule. Kev, let's start with one of the interesting matchups. West Hill 3-0 coming in against a 2-1 New Canaan team. Vikings are feeling it. They're the leaders in the West Division, and it's all done now.
You look at that, and you're amazed by the score in a way, because I expected more out of West Hill. I thought they looked good to start the year, and that just comes to show how much New Canaan has picked things up from Week 1. If you're a New Canaan Ram fan or anyone on that team, you have to be feeling good if you're a Ram right now.
We were down at Stanford because that game was played at Boyle Stadium.
Right.
We were down at Stanford High doing girls volleyball that afternoon. I hung around, watched the first half of that game. And you know what? John Kovac has preached this since week 1. West Hill beat Fairfield Ludlow. They had 7 turnovers in that game.
Yeah.
Then we saw them week 2 against Norwalk, and they still were a little sloppy with the football. Then against Danbury, a lot of turnovers again. This time, turnovers really came out and haunted them. Put New Canaan starting with the football on the 5-yard line, 1 possession. They had 2 pick sixes in the second half. Turnovers were the difference. I think the Rams are still pretty far from where they want to end up, but credit the defense that stepped up. I mean, Garrett Braden, again, just an absolute man out there, getting so much pressure. D-line did a good job. They really couldn't run the ball, could the West Hill Vikings. New Canaan on the other side, though, Drew Pine got caught throwing an interception, trying to force a ball back to O'Connell. Owen Shin fumbled twice. So the Rams are still working on a lot of little things here that if they keep making these same mistakes when they head to Greenwich in 2 weeks, they'll lose by 20 or 30.
That's going to be really fun. No, you're not wrong. I think that's why I think if you're New Canaan's defense, you have to be feeling good because you got Garrett Braden rushing the quarterback, you're forcing turnovers, you're getting pick sixes. You look back at what they did a couple of weeks ago in Trumbull, they had some nice defensive plays as well. The offense still needs the work needs to be done there. There's a lot to be worked on there. I think you look at the running game, still a question mark. Owen Shin at times, if he breaks free and gets a space, this guy can run. You just can't fumble the ball, plain and simple. It's a game of turnovers, but their defense, I think you have to be feeling good, Frank. If you're the defense right now, I know it's against West Hill, but this is a good West Hill team. It's a good team, and they force turnovers like that. You have to be feeling good if you're a defensive coordinator, anyone really on that team.
I think it's a 6-7 win West Hill squad. If they can clean up the turnovers, they're going to be fine and bounce back. They get Capital Prep next. That game will be this Saturday at 1 p.m. Capital Prep is coming off a 40-22 win over Danbury. And for the Hatters, Kev, it's just still not quite what they're expecting it or hoping for it to be.
It's not, and it's tough because this team works so hard, and it's unfortunate that their record doesn't show. They're sitting at 0-4. They go up against Ward next week. Ward sits at 2-2. You got to hope for the best here. You like to see them get that win because this is a team that works so hard during the offseason, during the season as well. They really battle against each and every team. They play to the whistle. So I like to see them get a win this year, and I think they will. They really will. This is a hard-working team.
Those games were played on Thursday night. The final Thursday night game, Trumbull and Trinity Catholic. Both these teams coming in 1-2, and it's Trumbull led by Colton Nicholas, who goes on and wins 35-27. Finally, we got that Colton Nicholas performance we were hoping for, Kevin.
Yeah.
Throws for about 270. He's got 3 touchdown passes, a rushing touchdown as well. The Eagles still not the best football they could be playing, but finally able to put it together offensively and get something going.
Yeah, they needed this, and especially for Colton Nicholas, because you look at some of the past performances, and he needed a game like this to kind of pick the confidence up. And you look at Trumbull, they're going to go up against a good Norwalk team. That's going to be an interesting game as well. You look at that, Trumbull-Norwalk next week, both teams with 2 wins. I like to see who comes out, maybe gets that third. But for Trumbull, big win. For Trinity, they go up against Fairfield-Ludlow next week. Obviously, we know what Ludlow is. Trinity, I think, will bounce back. Another team that really plays to the final whistle. This is another strong team as well.
And I think they'll be heavy favorites against Ludlow. That's a program right now. They're in the turnover, the rebuilding process. It's going to come eventually. We'll see. But most importantly for Trinity, and I think what's even bigger for them, they get the bye week now. It's already a small roster. We know that. They're beat up. It was a hot month of September. Football was just tough, a grind. They need this week right now. Get everyone healthy. You get back to work for real next Monday, and they'll be ready to go. Saturday, we don't have to spend much time on this one, Kev. 53 for Darien, 7 for Stanford. The win streak at 29.
This team is just too good, plain and simple. Until someone knocks them off, they're gonna be the top team here in the state. This is a very talented football team. They go up against their next opponent. It's gonna be Staples. Interesting game there, considering Staples' defense has looked pretty good this year at times. Able to shut down, only allow Wilton to score 3 points. You know, you'd like to think that someone's going to finally be able to put pressure and maybe force Darien to a close game. Right now, we're not seeing it. Can Staples be the team that makes it a close game?
We will find out. That game is on October 13th. Darien will have the bye before then. We're going to see Staples on Friday night. They host the Richfield Tigers, and we'll have more on that game later in the week. Sunday, Fairfield Ward back in the win column. They take care of Bridgeport Central 46-8. Good win for Ward. You know, Central, as you said with Ludlow, we know what they are.
Yeah, we know what Central is, and that's a nice win for Ward. Obviously, you know, a big win for them, a bounce back after losing to St. Joe's. So that's a nice win for the Ward Mustangs.
Now, we go to last night, 2 games in action. Let's start with Norwalk traveling to Greenwich. Greenwich coming off another bye, so they haven't played a football game in over 13 days. 48-0. It was 6-0 on the 4th play of the game. They blocked the punt, returned it for a touchdown. Had a big punt return that set up a Tyler Warren 4-yard touchdown run. Special teams a huge part. My only concern right now, because they go to another bye here, Kev, Greenwich hasn't been tested yet.
Right.
They haven't been in a difficult situation. Now they welcome New Canaan. On paper, everything we've seen, you might lean towards Greenwich. How are they going to respond if the Rams punch them in the mouth early on?
That's the big question because, yeah, you might like their record right now if you're a Cardinal, but you haven't faced the big boys yet. And once New Canaan comes to town, regardless of what New Canaan's record is this year, this team plays hard. And this is going to be a tough opponent for Greenwich, despite how many points they put up a week. Regardless, they put up 70, 60, 48, whatever it is, this is a New Canaan team that's going to hit you in the mouth early on and really force you, they're going to come after Gavin Muir, and this is going to be a tough game for Greenwich. Not going to be easy. New Canaan, we know what they are. They're a very talented team, good defense. It's really going to be a tough battle, but again, Greenwich really sending a message here to the FCX, so this is going to be a great game between New Canaan and Greenwich coming up.
That game on Saturday, October 14th at 4 p.m. Final game of this past weekend, St. Joe's coming off the tough loss against Darien. They travel to Wilton. This game was 27-21 at the half. And then really it was the St. Joe's defense that stole the show. Obviously the name Mike DeLorio all around that one, Kev. Big for the Cadets to get that win. Give credit to the Warriors going, score for score with them in the first half. But it's huge that the Cadets' defense could step up and take over a game. As they get through their schedule, get closer to the playoffs, that is going to play a major role.
Yeah, they needed this win after a tough loss to Darien, at Darien. Against a Wilton team, especially going to Wilton, not easy to do. Playing at Fujitani, we know what the fans can bring, which is very difficult. So I got to give credit to David Summers. Composed last night, looked good. I thought at times, Jared Malazzi, we obviously know the connection between the two of them. Phil Pesmag as well. This is a talented St. Joe's team. A nice bounce back win for Wilton. Yes, I think it's you like to see the positives in what happened last night because score for score in the first half, they looked good. Second half, they let things get away, and that just comes to show how good St. Joe's really can be.
Wilton now 2-2 on the season, and they will take on in their next game. Let me look this up for you right here, Kevin. I'm sorry. They get Central next. Should be able to handle that one there. St. Joe's, Ridgefield, October 14th. So a tough stretch coming up for your Tigers. Big thing for St. Joe's as well. Jaden Sheridan got going in last night's game. He rushed for over 170 yards. And again, Harvey Alexander, 3 scores. The young man doing everything he can right now, but yeah. Warriors just stuck in the middle of the pack at the moment.
Listen, my guy, Harvey Alexander, he's putting the team on his back. And unfortunately, it's not coming to show on the scoreboard, unfortunately. But this is a good Wilson team. They'll bounce back from this. I like that St. Joe's Richfield game coming up in a couple weeks. That's an intriguing matchup. But Friday night, I expect to see a really, really strong game between the Tigers and the Wreckers.
St. Joe's Ridgefield is October 14th at 1:30. That's the same day, of course, as a couple big matchups. We'll keep you posted on all those big matchups as we move through the week, obviously. And, of course, we're back tomorrow. Girls Soccer on the 8 a.m. network. The rivalry revisited. Wilton traveling to Ridgefield. Kevin's going to have to get off the fence and pick one side. Most likely
I'm right down the middle. I'm right down the middle because my house is almost in Wilton.
For Kevin Coleman, I'm Frank Granito. We'll see you tomorrow on Nutmeg Sports.